someone suppressing the price of Bitcoin because Bitcoin is crashing, making everyone question whether the 4-year cycle is over. This is the worst 18 months after a halving in Bitcoin's history. And at the same time, gold has been rallying and breaking out to new all-time highs, doubling over the past 12 months. However, over $1 trillion of capital was wiped off gold's market cap this morning. So, is Bitcoin about to play catch up to gold? That is the question. The question is, are cycles over? All right, guys. Of course, I'm not alone. I got Sophie with me here. And of course, I got our friend, Paul Tarantino, a.k.a. the Tom Cruise of Bitcoin, CEO of ByteFederal. How's it going, everyone? All right, guys. So first off, look, let me full screen myself, guys. I know you guys were calling me a fake maxi yesterday and you were saying I was fighting, but this morning I am actually feeling extremely bullish. So I'll make my case for why I'm bullish.
Are you sure it's just not because you're feeling better because the price
Well,
tanked this morning?
I am feeling a little better, but I am more bullish. Okay. So, of course, guys, in the gold market, gold has retraced about 3%, which doesn't really seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things. But again, gold has added basically multiples of the Bitcoin market cap in the last couple of weeks. Well, really over the last year. And a 3% move in gold is essentially $1 trillion off their market cap. And this is kind of what I'm looking at. This is kind of what my vibe is saying. I'm vibe trading here. And I really like this tweet that gold has reached euphoria phase. Remember, I was telling you guys yesterday that it seems like gold has found its exit liquidity. You've been seeing retail lines of people trying to buy gold. And there is a theory going around right now about what is going on in the gold markets. A lot of people are saying that the powers that be, whoever you want to say that is actually letting the gold price run so that they can, potentially revalue the U.S.'s gold holdings. So the market suppressors in gold are off. That's why it's running so much. And as we know, Bitcoin usually follows gold's move. So if this chart is true, of course, this is some some chart butchering here, but zooming in here, you can see the gold price on top of the Wall Street psychology chart. It does look to match up. I know this is chart crimes. This is some chart crimes. I will admit this is some chart crimes and maybe kind of cherry picking here. But it is very interesting to see gold retrace. Of course, Bitcoin's getting nuked right now, and everyone's wondering why, considering that the initial drop was around the trade war. Now it seems like the trade wars are off. Gold is retracing. S&P 500 is kind of doing all right. Bitcoin is getting nuked. And we're all like, what is going on here? I do have some more theories on the gold price, but I'm going to get a general sentiment vibe here from Sophie and Paul. I'm going to go with Paul first. Paul, what do you think is going on with the gold? Do you believe in this theory of them reprice or letting gold run so that they can reprice their gold holdings and then potentially that is going to eventually end up in Bitcoin?
I do believe that they're going to reprice the gold, and I think they would like to see. I think they would just like to market. They don't want to do something like, oh, okay, gold's trading at 4,000. We want to price gold at 10,000. I mean, I think that's obviously an option if things went off the rails real fast. But no, they need to reprice gold. That will help fix the balance sheet at the treasury level. So yeah, I see that coming, and I think you're right. I think there's going to be a future of gold at $10,000 an ounce. And I think that the market will take it there and then we'll mark to market.
Yeah, totally. It seems like that.
It doesn't mean that,
what's going on.
Gold's going to 10,000 this month. There could be some radical, volatility between now and then.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I do have a secondary theory on what's going on with gold. But as we are seeing right now, the gold market isn't really getting pushed by retail. Yes, we're seeing lines of retail kind of, stack up so that people can get their hands on gold. But it does seem like the gold market is being driven by institutions, aka the central banks. Everyone is moving away from the dollar right now. There's this general fear of the quote debasement trade, and of course, they're all going into gold. So that is definitely what's going on. I'm gonna switch the question a little bit for Soph. because Soph is over here just freaking out about the price. So how are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling like I'm feeling like this is all on purpose. There's some shenanigans going on because I was promised a bull market and I was promised October, and this is nothing of the sort. And the math isn't mathing.
Yeah, 100. Sorry, I don't know if you guys heard the back end, but something popped up. Yeah, I literally. So guys, you know, I've been shit posting heavy this morning because, as me and Paul were talking about earlier, hey, at least we get some volatility back into the markets.
I was so relieved to see Bitcoin finally just drop this morning. It was like, finally, we like let's break 100. Let's do something. Either collapse 50 to 70% so I can buy more at a great price, or just fucking run. One or the other. I'm done with this 100K.
Yeah, totally. As long as we're doing something, it feels good. As long as the price is moving in one way, then we're good to go. Actually, guys, I think our internet's acting up over here. So drop a 1 in the chat if this is even live on YouTube. I think it's live. I'm seeing the chat come in, but our YouTube back end. Okay, there we go. Okay, it looks like we're back live. Yeah, I was like, hey, my TA for the day is they want you to sell your coin. So don't sell your coin right now. This does seem like institutional kind of price suppression to keep the price down so that they can get a good position. Okay, we're getting 1 in the chat. Okay, so it's just the internet's acting up over here, guys. Yeah, we're getting a 0 in the chat. So they're trolling me. They're trolling me live. Okay, we're getting 1. Yeah, it does seem like there is some shenanigans going on in the market right now, and they are trying to keep the price down. Though I was kind of trolling with my friends, like the wick off distribution is bullish, guys. Like we finally closed the wick off distribution. I don't even know what that means, to be honest. I have no clue what wick off is. But you did talk about volatility in gold, and this is my secondary theory of. I don't know if this is exactly what's going on, but there is some parallels to history that are very interesting. And of course, like every Bitcoiner, it goes back to Weimar Republic and what happens when you see hyperinflation in an economy. And of course, this one is not so much, well, I do have a picture of them, you know, moving bricks of dollars like it's useless. But this one is very interesting. Gold priced in Weimar marks. And of course, that volatility was super crazy over a, 9-year period. And so if we are entering a similar type of scenario where you are seeing the fears from institutions, you are seeing traders look at the debasement trade and wonder, are we in some sort of hyperinflationary scenario? But this isn't just in one country. This is a global scenario. And again, here's like the zoomed in, the high volatility of gold. Maybe this is what we're seeing right now. And then here is the zoomed out version of this. And this is where it gets a little interesting because this almost looks exactly to what the gold chart is looking today. It just, volatility and then going absolutely parabolic. And you may be thinking, look, you're a Bitcoiner, you're reaching. Well, we are seeing this happen in certain currencies today, specifically in the yen. Gold and Japanese yen has exploded 300% since 2025, proof of a currency in free fall. So I don't know, guys, I know I'm cherry picking here and I will go back, but this parabolic run we are seeing in gold is not as bullish, I think, as everyone is making it out to be. Yes, gold is running extremely high, but it really makes you think that there's something fundamentally wrong in the plumbing right now. There's something going on, and we kind of covered it at the tail end of the show, and there was more data coming out, but it does seem like there is a crisis in regional banking right now. There's crazy stuff going in regional banking markets right now. Stocks are getting nuked. We're seeing there's low liquidity on their balance sheets. There's low liquidity in the repo markets. So
we're about to print.
Exactly.
The big print is coming. Yes, so
you have to have the pain before the pump.
100%. That's where we are right now. Anyways,
so much pain though. I feel so much pain, and I'm just ready to listen. Last year, October was a nothing burger, and then everything happened in November. And I remember back in 2017. Nothing happened up until December. And then the beginning of January, everything dumped. So, you know, things might just still be very volatile. I know that we've been saying it's the end of cycles and, you know, this is stability coming to Bitcoin, but this is kind of making me feel like the old days. Like this is the wild, wild west right now. Nobody knows what is about to happen. Everybody is up in limbo. And you know, I'm tired of the pain, Opti. I'm tired of the pain. I've suffered enough.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at least something is there. And actually, Sophie, you were right. I think our stream went to a different YouTube stream.
So I let everybody in the other chat know to come to this stream. If you guys can share this link with your friends, smash the like button because we're getting nuked in the algorithm right now.
they'll pop in. They'll pop in right now. They'll be here. You know, things happen over here. The internet's acting up on me. The internet's acting up.
And also, like, this is a new studio. We're still getting used to the setup.
No. This was a YouTube internet.
We're also streaming a conference in Canada, right?
Yeah,
so
crazy stuff.
Lots of stuff is happening in the back end. If you guys could help us out by sharing this video with your friends, smashing the like button, subscribing to our channel, that would be really, really great and helpful.
All that good stuff. Okay, well, I will nuke the other one in a minute. I'm going to try to get people over here, and then you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see. Are people popping off in there yet? No. Okay, maybe I'm just going to nuke it.
In the meantime, Paul, are you experiencing an increase in volume? Are people smash buying this dip or what? Tell me.
No, it's never quite like that in the ATM space. We have very consistent flows. Like even in really bad bear markets, our flows only go down about 10%. So it's pretty consistent regardless. A lot of people, you know, they just keep buying. We will see small like upticks in bull markets when things like really start to rip. We'll see our volume increase. But yeah, no, generally it's pretty steady.
Well, that's good. I mean, that means that people are dollar cost averaging.
Yeah.
But do you think that that indicates the possibility of a supply shock coming very soon? Is that, I mean, I think that's why people were migrating into gold in the first place.
Mhm.
And then the fact that it's being wiped out just indicates to me that they're like people need money. People need, because the cost of living is so expensive day to day.
People need jobs in the chat. So
there you go. I mean, if that's the case, then you know maybe this gold run is like very short lived because you know money today is money today, and people need it for tomorrow and for it to last till the end of the month. So, and we're only on the 17th. Hey, maybe people bought on their paycheck day and then just like ripped it, you know?
Yeah, that's the signal here, guys. It's payday and you get some cheap sats. So I did promise you guys I am gonna, you know, I know the last time I chart boarded last Friday, it absolutely nuked on me, but I'm not convinced that this is the end of the cycle, guys. I'm looking at some stuff and it's honestly making me feel super bullish. So even though we're seeing this volatility right now, I think we're setting up for something great, guys. Again, ever since the ETF was launched, ever since the institutions entered Bitcoin, the price has been acting a little differently. And it does seem to have this kind of dump before the pump. As the meme goes, it's always dumpiest before it's pumpiest. And we have seen it do these 30% corrections and then start ripping. As Wicked tweeted, is it the beginning of the end or just another bull market pullback for Bitcoin? And I think that's the real question here. I really like this one from Altcoin Daily, that it's so over. It's all over. This is literally since the ETF was launched. You'll see it. It'll dump and then it'll start pumping. It'll dump. It'll hit basically the 50-week moving average, and then it'll start ripping. So it seems like we are right there again, hitting the 50-week moving average, and it looks like it's going to start ripping. I'm on the fence that we're going to start ripping. The great redistribution from gold into Bitcoin, I think, is still on the horizon, guys. I think this is a perfect setup to maintain our bullishness.
Yeah, somehow I feel like this dump is just signaling that we might have like the biggest pump of our lives. I mean, after all, this has been kind of a boring bull market, and I think that maybe we needed this dip the last dip of all dips. I am hoping.
Famous last words.
Famous last
Well,
words.
it's definitely not going to be the last dip. So
No, definitely not the last dip, but like God, the last one of the season,
the last
man.
one of 2025.
Let's God, of the cycle. Come
Oh
on.
my God.
We've been through a lot since 2021. Let's be so for real. We all got cut short. Our excitement, our emotion just went down the drain after that China mining ban. And we didn't get the bull market that we deserved then. And I feel like this really needs to make up for it because the stage is set. There, like, I don't understand what could break us down at this point. Even with the tariffs on China, we are about like they're about to make a deal. They're investing a ton of money. Donald Trump just was named one of the biggest whales in Bitcoin. The US just became one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin, no matter whether, they seized it or not, that we have it. We have it. It's in our custody. So something's got to give. Something's got to give.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think we've got so much bad news right now with, we've got the
It's
tariffs,
not even
like
that
you
much
mentioned.
bad news. It's not
Well,
even
I mean, bad news in regards to liquidity, right? So the
Right.
tariffs,
which is good
the
news for
government,
us.
the government shutdown. The government shutdown is kind of akin to doging, right? Where all of a sudden these people aren't going to have jobs and get paid. So there's a little bit of a liquidity crunch, but like you said, on the horizon, there's another rate cut. There's a minute a tweet could come from Donald Trump that changes everything, right? And that's so frustrating about this market is that it's so driven by his social media presence and his whim at the moment, or whatever his negotiation tactics are at the moment. So, but when everything's bearish and the fear and greed index is getting more bearish, if it gets a little bit more bearish and one tiny bit of good news comes out, this thing will turn on a dime. And I think that's where we're at.
I actually like this video I saw this morning on Twitter that Andrew Tate dropped about how, things could always get worse. You could, lose your family, have the worst day of your life, and on the way to the morgue, you could get into a car accident yourself. And he made the point at the end that, there's going to be people who are going to lose all of their money and then the price is going to pump. And that's usually been the story of everybody's life and that's why it's so important to hold. That's why we always like make the memes and make the case, self-custody and hold, don't sell. And you will be rewarded for enduring this pain. I hope.
Yes, 100%. I totally agree. And yes, when we get the pain, I get excited.
Yeah, well, me and Luke were talking this, and guys, okay, you guys want to know a new real indicator here that me and Luke were doing this morning is even Luke is starting to feel concerned, which he's for Paul. If you don't know our boy Luke, he's like the most bullish person ever.
Okay.
Luke Mikic, he gets told in the chat. He always says he said it one time on the show, like, dude, it's going to $7 billion per coin, and the chat's never forgotten that. All right, my indicator is even Luke is getting a little concerned, which makes me be even more bullish because, like, again, we are trading, or rather, we are dealing with human psychology in the Bitcoin market. And when even the true believers start looking at the price and we're like, man, it is starting to get a little hairy, that's when it's going to get really pumpy. It's because people that been in the market for a while are sitting here like, oh man, are we really going into a bear market? Like, damn, it's really over, isn't it? And when that happens, when the true believers stop to lose conviction in the price going up, that's probably when it's going to start ripping. But Paul, I do want to ask you, we have been theorizing here, maybe speculating. Well, we have a new rumor here at Simply Bitcoin is the idea that now we have the Larry Finks and the Donald Trumps of the world, that they are incentivized to not let this thing crash anymore because their reputations are on the line. Do you think that holds water? Do you think there's some credence to this idea that, yeah, maybe they're suppressing the price a little bit, but they're probably not going to let this thing dump because, again, they want to make gains? And I was making this case to Nico the other night. I'm like, dude, like, you think Larry Fink and all the institutions just getting into Bitcoin, you think they aren't kicking themselves and being like, I want 10,000% gains on this thing. I want to make all these gains too. So I just think we have this unlimited bid on Bitcoin now, and the institutions being here are just they're going to buy up all the Bitcoin. So it's never really going to drop that low. If it's dropping to a certain level, it's because they're trying to pack their bags.
I agree with the last part. I feel like I've always believed, even when I was in TradFi, that the powers that be, if they want an asset, they're going to do whatever it takes to get that asset.
Yep.
And so this makes it precarious for Bitcoiners, and why the hodling meme is so damn important. Because you might feel like you missed Bitcoin at 100K. There's no reason why you can't get another opportunity at this thing. So you should be, every one of us should be looking at downside as a massive gift. Because you're 100% right in the long-term vision, right? In the long term, say the next 5 to 10 years, they have a massive incentive to pump Bitcoin. But this asset has been a peer-to-peer network driven asset bubble. So why would you, if you're Wall Street and you missed out on that, and now this is your opportunity, you're going to do everything you can to grab as much Bitcoin as you can before you let it rip. And I think that's why it's been chop solidation all year. Is there's a lot of whales or new whales, right? New whales, Wall Street and institutions, et cetera, that feel like they need to get a big bag of Bitcoin ASAP. And so shenanigans that drop the price, they're going to take advantage of it. And we need to take advantage of it too.
Yeah, 100%. I'm fully convinced that these shakeouts are just that. They're shakeouts. They want you to sell your coin right now. The true believers, they want to get your coin. Remember, most of the coin is being held by people in cold storage. So there's not that much coin to go around. And these guys are coming in supposedly, like me and Paul were saying earlier, supposedly buying $1 billion of Bitcoin, and yet the price is doing nothing. So
yeah, but there's also like the $1 billion sellers, right? There's
yeah,
the $1 billion sellers too, right? If you started in 2011, 2012, 2013, and you're sitting on $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, how much more do you need as an individual, right? I mean, that there's a lot of people where that kind of money is like, now having that much money is a bigger problem than trying to make that much money. So
I completely agree with you there. And I was making that case, when we saw a small dip, when somebody sold, I think like 8,000 Bitcoin or something like that. They were like a long time whale and they made a sell. And at the same time, being a whale, you've held on for this long. Why wouldn't you hold a little bit longer until we get to the all-time high of this cycle? You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, but 100K was an all-time high for, like, that was the moonshot for a lot of people.
But more is more.
Yeah, more is more. But more is also like more in, how do I describe this? Like, because I have a background in traditional finance at the trust company, where we're dealing with wealthy people and how they pass that to their heirs and the different structures associated with distributing that wealth. And so when you have a massive bag of Bitcoin, you're looking at the world totally differently now, because you have 10x, 20x, 100x more than you really need to maybe live the lifestyle you enjoy living. And then it becomes, we're thinking about, like, do I want to donate? Do I want to structure for future generations?
Right,
Do I want to
legacy
create
building.
endowments? And so they start looking at the world just differently. It becomes a capital preservation mindset as opposed to an accumulation mindset. And in that, selling some Bitcoin might be part of their plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Someone in the chat says October.
Yeah.
It's not October. It's not October. It's October.
I resent that person.
No, honestly, guys, the more the Simply Bitcoin chat gets bearish, the more bullish I get. The more I see all my friends on Twitter starting to get bearish and concerned. Like, I had that one friend, I think he's still in the chat right now. I've been trolling with him that it's over. The more people start to believe like he does, it means we're going up, guys. I was trolling this morning.
Look at this.
Sodal,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
That, and honestly, that's how I know it is bullish, is because like I've even been trolling to Nico. I talked to him last night for like an hour, and I talked to him this morning, and it was the same conversation. It's like, dude, Bitcoin is over. Like, I got rug pulled. I'm going to sell out of my position. And like everyone knows I'm not serious about that. But the fact that you're even joking about it, I think it's just showing the sentiment of where the markets are. And it makes me feel like it's going to start ripping. I'm convinced we're over. All right, guys,
So
we have a jam-packed show for you. Of course, I want to remind you guys to smash the like button, of course, subscribe and comment. Let us know what you think about the studio. There's still people that hang out with us that haven't seen the new stew. We're in the new stew, guys. Super hyped on it. We've been stealth building for a minute. Of course, I also want to give a huge shout out to our boys over at Bitcoin Well. Go to bitcoinwell.com/simply and stack real Bitcoin. Make sure you are using exchanges that can never rug pull you. And Bitcoin Well is designed specifically so they never hold your Bitcoin. They'll never lose your Bitcoin, and they have never lost your Bitcoin because they never hold your Bitcoin. This is why we love Bitcoin Well. This is why we partnered with them, is because they do it the right way. Yes, it's an extra step. You need a Bitcoin wallet when you buy Bitcoin, but your Bitcoin never stays on it in exchange. So scan the QR code, and you get 3 chances to win 1,000,000 sats. And if you are on the sideline with a lot of fiat and you want to buy $50,000 or more, make sure you get in touch with the Bitcoin Infinite Well team, and they will take care of you and make sure it is secure for generational wealth. Okay, guys, so for the rest of the show, I have a new clip from Charles Schwab. They're saying some interesting things about Bitcoin on Wall Street. And then everyone's favorite, Dennis Porter, actually, I think, kind of delivered. I could argue kind of delivered. We'll discuss this.
This is a controversial take, okay? But we're gonna break down why we feel that.
Self probably will. I'm just gonna cover the news.
I will break it down.
I don't know. I don't know Sophie's theories over here. And then of course we have Paul here, so we're gonna talk all things ByteFederal. An interesting new development that they're working on. I was gonna troll a little bit on it, since we're all losing out on games. Your new development is perfect, bro. Anyways, guys, we'll be right back after this commercial break. Give us about 60 seconds.
I want to give a shout out to our partner, StampSeed. Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Are your seed phrases really secure? StampSeed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you'll need for you to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates. Instead of just writing them down on paper, paper is fragile. Titanium plates are strong. Your words are actually stamped into the titanium plate with this hammer and these letter stamping tools. Once the words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamp seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They are also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and time-proof. And now you can customize your titanium seed plates. You can upload your design or logo, and they will laser engrave it on the back of your seed plate, the opposite side of where the words are. Stamp your seed on StampSeed and use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on the stampseed.com store.
All right. Oh, wait, wrong one.
Hi, guys. Okay, so here is the lovely StampSeed plate, and you can customize whatever photo you want in the back. You can even get a picture of Opti, like the one that I have on my desk right now. He's like, don't do that.
Wait. Yeah, let's zoom out. All right, check this out, guys. Nico did this because I was living at his house for a little bit. And it looks like I'm not alive anymore. It's like a memorial.
It says Opti lived here, AD 2025.
Dad jokes on fleek. Anyways, the current Bitcoin price is, let me get over here. The current Bitcoin price is $106,700, guys. It's completely over. Sell your bags. It was a good run.
We pumped a little bit. We were
it was at 103. It was at 103, but
103?
we're back. Anyways, we're at a decline from all-time high of negative 15.4%. The market cap is $2.13 trillion, and the current block height is 919,535. All right, guys. So let me see. I honestly, the internet is having trouble over here. So hopefully this video uploaded on us. If not, we'll figure it out. But Charles Schwab on CNBC this morning saying some interesting things about the appetite for Wall Street and Bitcoin. Let's play it.
Yes, we've been active in both. So in crypto, we do offer crypto ETFs, Bitcoin futures, closed-end funds. In fact, our clients own 20% of all the crypto exchange-traded products in our country. So they've been very active. We've seen visits to our crypto site go up 90% in the last year. It's a topic that's of high engagement. And for privates, we have made private investments available to our clients. We've done through third-party managers like KKR and Apollo and folks like that. And we've also stood up a team of alternative experts. If you want to invest in alternatives at Schwab, you're going to need to talk to a professional to make sure they're right for you and to make sure you find the right strategy for you.
How much?
Guys, the real professional is us over here, guys. You don't need Charles Schwab for that. Just get the free alpha from Simply Bitcoin YouTube. No, but the real thing that I wanted to talk about was the middle portion of that, where obviously they really didn't have much crypto stuff on their site, but they've seen a 90% increase in traffic searching for that. And I think that is where the signal is. Yes, I know this year's been kind of slow. We've had really good news stories, but the price has literally been like non-existent all year long.
You know,
But
believe it or not, this is probably the first cycle ever where I've had people reach out to me and my family wanting to buy because the price dipped. So I think people are starting to realize the opportunity that they have on their hands. And yeah, it might be that, you know, if they're feeling like that. I usually use my friends and family as like the normie radar of my life. And
there's one in the room with us right now.
yeah. And everyone's buying the dip this time. It's unbelievable. It's like they finally learned from the last two cycles that, hey, maybe I should like not buy at the top. I don't know.
No, we buy tops. You buy tops as generational timestamps.
We buy tops because we know it goes up. But for normies, the fact that they're buying when Bitcoin is dipping, this is like incredible. I feel like this is, you know, a step forward. They've advanced in their learning and they're on to the next step of taking the risk and buying when it's low.
Yeah, and I think that's really kind of what he said, you know, that people are very interested in Bitcoin now, that it is becoming, you know, a common kind of conversation piece now, where if you understand anything about finance right now, Bitcoin is one of those conversations. Even if it's like the ugly, you know, redheaded stepchild of the conversation, at least it's still in the conversation. And I've been saying for a while that I think 2025 is that year where kind of the foundations get built, where, okay, a lot of these products are being offered. Now the institutions are starting to get in. You're starting to see at the tail end of the year, they're pivoting to try to position themselves as the middleman. Obviously, we don't believe that you should be buying from them. You should just try to buy Bitcoin directly. You literally don't need, quote unquote, the experts to tell you what to do. You just need to buy Bitcoin and hold it.
Because now there's this other element, right? Put aside the experts. We have experts, quote unquote, at the palm of our hands now. More people now than ever are using AI in their daily lives. And so what's to say that they're not using ChatGPT or other AI services or whatever, especially for, you know, people who are trading stocks, whatever. Like, we know that they've been using AI to know how much to buy, when to sell. Who's to say that they're not using these bots to do it themselves? They don't really need the experts anymore. We are the experts now, you and me. We have the information at the palm of our hands. And I think that might actually be part of it, because back in the day, brokers and human beings didn't have the incentive to tell people to get into Bitcoin. Where is their commission for that? Where is the right now, these people had to join, like they couldn't beat us, so they had to join us. And that's where you get the ETFs and all of these new financial instruments that they're offering in said crypto. But the reality is, I think a lot of people are being led by the information given to them in AIs, in podcasts, and in all of these like modern media tools that weren't available the last cycle.
Yeah, well, I have a 42 IQ, so I'm not an expert at anything, guys. All I'm going to
we've just
say
been going
is
through
buy
pain.
Bitcoin and hold it. You learn through experience. This is the best way to
You
learn.
learn through pain.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, Paul, do you
I agree
believe
with
the
Sophie
FOMO?
100%. I believe what Sophie said is totally accurate. The Wall Street crowd has never, they've totally missed this asset from the beginning. They've never had an incentive to sell it, promote it, talk about it, endorse it. And now all those incentives are lining up.
Yeah.
And for the vast majority of the wealth in, let's say the average high net worth investment manager, they have discretionary trading authority over their clients' accounts. And so those guys are incentivized to buy the dip, right? So they're going to look at the market with a much more level head than an emotional retail investor. And so they're going to buy on pullbacks. They're going to have an allocation target. That also means they're going to sell when the allocation gets too high. So it just creates a less volatile but more widely adopted asset over time. And so I think that has a lot to do with what we're seeing this year.
Totally, 100%. We are seeing the tide shift in real time, and obviously we would like things to happen a lot quicker, but I think they're happening at the right time, right? Everything's happening exactly as planned, and man, this really makes me think the 2026 won't be a bear market. I guess we can
Yeah,
hope.
right. I mean, that's an interesting comment. I kind of, I go back and forth, right? It depends on what the chart looks like when I look at it.
Yeah, like today, it's over. It's
I mean,
done
but no,
today.
the chart today makes me feel like, wow, we could see this rip down to say 70 and then
No.
and then rocket
God.
into 2026. I mean,
Yeah.
I could see that being painted on the chart. I could also see us turning real quickly and running up to 150K here in the next week or two. So, yeah, I don't know. All I know is that when things get really ugly, I gotta find money to buy, and when things get really aggressive, I need to not FOMO.
Yeah, 100%. It's always dumpiest before it is pumpiest.
Yeah.
That just sounds
And it is super
wrong.
dumpy right now.
I mean,
It
the
is
fear and
super
greed
dumpy.
index, I think this morning
Yeah,
was
it's at total
22.
fear. Yeah, it's a
Well,
total
22,
fear.
but I mean, usually when that thing gets around like single digits, high single digits, low double digits, like between 9 and 11, something like that, then it's like you just better go dig up the coffee cans in the backyard because it's time to buy.
Paul, you're feeding the bears in the chat. You said 75K and they're saying delicious.
Yeah, let's take it. I'm
Feeding
ready.
feeding the bears in the chat. All right, guys, one more commercial break and we'll be right back to talk about what's happening in California.
I want to give a shout out to our partner, Ledin, the leader in Bitcoin-backed loans. Unlock the liquidity in your Bitcoin without having to sell your Bitcoin. They've issued $9 billion in loans to over 10,000 customers since 2018. I absolutely love these guys. Not only do I have an account with them, but I also have a loan. And what I love about them is that there are no monthly payments, and you could pay back the loan at any time. As soon as you send your Bitcoin as collateral, you'll have cash in your account within 24 hours. Over 1,000 five-star customer reviews, and they've never lost a single dollar or sat of customer money. Go to learn.ledin.io/simply today, and you'll get 0.25% off your first loan. I want to give a shout out to our partner, sat123.com. Sovereignty isn't just about your money. It's about your communications too. When the grid goes down, most people go dark. Cell towers fail in hurricanes, cyber attacks, and blackouts. But satellite phones, they don't rely on local infrastructure. Iridium has 77 satellites in orbit, giving you a direct line anywhere in the US, even offshore. If you hold your own Bitcoin keys, you should hold your own comms too. Sat123.com also has everything you need to start building your Bitcoin citadel. Starlink, battery backups, Faraday bags to protect your hardware wallets, and much, much more. It's a one-stop shop for anyone serious about resilience and off-grid independence. Stay connected, stay independent, stay sovereign. Go to sat123.com/simply today and use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on the store. I want to give a shout out to our partner, BitKey. If you already self-custody your Bitcoin, you know the deal with hardware wallets by now. Complex setups, clumsy interfaces, and a seed phrase that can be lost, stolen, or forgotten. BitKey fixes that. BitKey is a multi-sig hardware wallet built by the team behind Square and Cash App. It packs a cryptographic recovery system and built-in inheritance feature into an intuitive, easy-to-use wallet with no seed phrase to sweat over. It's simple, secure, self-custody without the stress. Time named BitKey one of the best inventions of 2024. Get 20% off at bitkey.world. That's BITKEY.world with the code SIMPLY.
All right, guys. Guess what? We got a huge breaking from Dennis Porter. We'll do a huge breaking, and then we'll actually break down a little bit. So Dennis Porter, huge breaking. California passes law to enable the state to custody Bitcoin and digital assets. The fourth largest economy in the world will soon be holding Bitcoin. This is incredibly bullish. Dude, he's so good at what he does. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Dennis Porter is really good at what he does. But looking at the law a little more closely, like he literally tweeted and then what he posted, it's slightly different. It's slightly different to what he posted here. So Satoshi Action Fund posted, California passes landmark policy. The fourth largest economy in the world will soon custody Bitcoin and digital assets. California has made history with the passage of Senate Bill 822, a groundbreaking law that allows the state to custody Bitcoin and other digital assets in their native form under the unclaimed property law. This landmark policy positions the world's fourth largest economy at the forefront of responsible fiscal innovation. Digital assets are no longer a thing of the future. They are part of everyday life. And SB 822 makes sure California laws keep up with innovation and that people's property is protected no matter the form it takes. This gives consumers confidence in our system and shows that government can adapt responsibly as technology advances. Now the state can confidently keep California's digital assets safe using the same trusted unclaimed property process that protects stocks and other financial assets. So previously, unclaimed digital assets were sold for cash when transferred to the state, but with SB 822, it modernizes the system and allows the state to hold Bitcoin and other digital assets in its native form through licensed custodians, preventing forced liquidation and preserving market value. The state controller must now hold digital assets for up to 20 months before any conversion to cash. So there's the news. The TLDR is basically if you lost your Bitcoin in California or you had left your Bitcoin on exchanges for a certain amount of time, they kind of put this under this unclaimed property law. They confiscate that Bitcoin. But before, they would basically liquidate your Bitcoin holdings, put it in cash. And then if you ever were able to claim that property again, they'd give you the cash equivalent of Bitcoin. Now, with this new law, technically they will be custodying Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin, but they're basically just not going to liquidate your Bitcoin position. And so you'll receive Bitcoin if you claim it again in the future. That's the TLDR of this. But Soph does have an interesting theory here. She's speculating a little bit. Well, we can break this down because I wasn't fully understanding. Rather, I really wasn't listening this morning. So, Sophie, I was busy doing the show. I was busy trying to get stuff ready. So, Sophie, what is your take on this?
Okay, so this is my take, trying to give the government the benefit of the doubt, which I never do. And I want to make the caveat that this law, first of all, keep your Bitcoin in self-custody. I'm going to say that again. Keep your Bitcoin in self-custody. This is not a law that applies to people who keep their Bitcoin in self-custody.
No, further. Take your Bitcoin off exchanges.
Yeah, take your Bitcoin off of exchanges and put it into self-custody. If you're not doing that, then you're going to have a very bad experience with this law. With that being said, this law does not apply to people who have their Bitcoin in self-custody. What do I mean by that? This might apply to, an older individual who bought their Bitcoin on an exchange. They think that they have Bitcoin. What they really have is an IOU. And, suddenly that person gets dementia or has a disability or whatever. You have to put on your, I live in California and I voted for this hat. And think about the fact that these people believe that the government is protecting these individuals, disadvanged individuals, right? So that's who the law is for. It's for maybe somebody who is, unhoused and somehow has Bitcoin on an exchange, couldn't afford a wallet, and they can't have access to a computer to log in and get to reclaim their Bitcoin. They can through the government. It's going to take weeks and months, of course, but I think that this law ultimately protects people who are holding Bitcoin and are in disadvantaged situations. Sometimes we really do got to check our privilege and realize that these people do exist out there. And you got to realize that a lot of people in California think like this. So that is the only
Didn't you say
angle that I could possibly think of as to why. Oh, and the other angle
you
is
said something
that,
about like property rights or something?
well, yeah, that now the California government is looking at Bitcoin as property. That's the signal here, is that if they're going to be holding Bitcoin, they're really seeing Bitcoin as property. However, they will not hold your Bitcoin in self-custody indefinitely. They will likely sell it for cash. So,
I look totally fair what you said. I'm taking the opposite view here.
no,
This
that's
sounds
my
like
view. That's my view. I actually I distrust the government. I would never. I pray that I am never in this situation, but unfortunately, I really got to put on, I'm trying to be empathetic, okay? I'm trying really
honestly,
hard.
this sounds like a good way for the California government to steal your Bitcoin and then hold that Bitcoin and claim, the gains on that Bitcoin.
I
But
completely agree. I mean,
that's my take here.
that's my pessimistic view. And again,
Pessimistic
I have
fields
to,
today.
well, it's realistic also. But I have to believe that these people who they voted for, I didn't vote for them, but they voted for them. They were put into power by a democratic process. That is what they voted for. They voted for the government, to be big brother and quote unquote protect
Big
them.
daddy government
It's
protecting.
it's definitely not something that I would sign up for. I hold my Bitcoin in self-custody, which is why I'm saying for the third or fourth or I don't know how many times now, keep your Bitcoin in self-custody, because then stuff like this won't happen to you.
Take your Bitcoin off exchanges. Take it off exchanges. This is the only way. Anyways,
actually,
go.
a law like this might actually push people to take their Bitcoin off of exchanges, because if you are an individual who distrusts the government, this might actually be the final straw. This might be the final thing that causes you to get up, stop being lazy, and learn about self-custody so that you can take your Bitcoin off of exchanges.
Yeah, the crazy part of what you said, Soph, is that I think people I had to stop myself because by people I might have been saying Dennis Porter, but I do think people would view this as a good thing and be like, oh, the government's here protecting me. They believe in Bitcoin too.
It seems
Fam.
it seems like oil and
Nah.
water. It seems like oil and water, especially when you're talking about Bitcoin, because Bitcoiners are so inherently untrusting of the government. But again, the reality is that
I don't think everyone is though.
no, but the reality is that Bitcoin has now hit institutions, right? And so that means that if it's going to go mainstream, if people who are outside of the normal window of adoption for Bitcoin are starting to buy Bitcoin, then maybe this is a way that they can kind of feel protected too, because don't forget that for them, Bitcoin feels like the wild, wild west. Like they don't know how to deal with a lot of the technological learning curves that that Bitcoin entails. And again, yeah, this might just be like a huge Bitcoin like power grab.
Mm.
And it looks like that might be the case. But again, that's why we make it very known to take your Bitcoin off of exchanges and into self-custody so that this won't happen to you and the government won't take your Bitcoin.
The only thing I'll add to this is that as a financial company, you're required to kind of track this lost property. Now, of course, if you're like ByteFederal or Bitcoin Well, where you're pushing everybody towards self custody, that you don't have these sort of issues, but it is a requirement for financial institutions to handle this lost property. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Coinbase really pushed this because of their because they're in California and they probably have a whole bunch of dust sitting in accounts everywhere, and they need to have the state take this, and they need to have a process in place to handle this.
What is
And
I don't understand. What does that mean?
Yeah, just a bunch of Bitcoin, like a little tiny
Yeah,
amount
like,
of Bitcoin on the
But
exchange.
why wouldn't the exchange just take that?
oh, because it's not legal.
Yeah, that's called theft.
Well, it's
I mean,
property.
it's a requirement, right? Like it's a requirement of these financial institutions to sort of track and handle this lost property. And so, if they might even close an account. Like I had an account closed at Fidelity with a few dollars left in it, and that stuff will sit there for a certain period of time until it gets swept into sort of lost property. And so I would imagine that regulators having a little conversation with Coinbase are saying, hey, you need to do something with
take
all this
this-
dust sitting in here.
Yeah, they probably want this part of the job, just like they want to shut down this department on Coinbase. They're like,
I'm
listen,
sure.
it's this bull market isn't hitting the same. We got to fire some people. Like the state, you take care of this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure that there's been some discussions between the state and Coinbase about this because I mean we're getting audited over this kind of stuff as well. So
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Good insights from Paul over there. We don't run a federal regulated bank over here, basically, or quote unquote bank. So we wouldn't have those insights, but that's good to know. So I guess maybe it is a little better. I don't know about huge breaking. That's why I say Dennis Porter is just really good at his job.
He's really
shouts
good
out
at
Dennis Porter.
Yeah.
We honestly need to get better at our marketing. We should hire Dennis Porter over here. Not gonna lie. Anyway,
But philosophically, I'm 100% on board with Sophie's comment.
yeah, right. All right, guys. Last commercial break, and we're going to talk about ByteFederal. They just announced something really, really interesting. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
I want to give a shout out to our partner, HIVE Digital Technology. Why HIVE in 2025? Unstoppable growth. As the first ever public miner, HIVE's position to quadruple their global footprint, making them one of the world's fastest growing miners in 2025. And with elite operations that consistently top the industry in Bitcoin mined per exahash, HIVE's now headquartered in the USA. They're lean and mean, they're green and clean, and they're rewriting the playbook on sustainable Bitcoin mining. You can catch the latest buzz at HIVE Digital Tech or at HIVEDigitalTech.com. I want to give a shout out to our partner, BitcoinBend.io. If you're into freedom, Bitcoin, and building a real community, this is for you. Gain exclusive access to real-world, members-only, private clubs across the globe, featuring poker nights, expert-led classes, co-working spaces, educational meetups, live events, and more. Current locations include Sarasota, Nashville, Boston, Dallas, Las Vegas, and St. Louis, with new clubs launching soon in West Palm Beach, Scottsdale, Alabama, and beyond. Not to mention Bitcoin Bend's resorts in El Salvador. There's 3 of them, and they're absolutely beautiful. You'll also get access to the first fully backed Bitcoin bank with fiat ramps and savings accounts. It's called Private Key Bank, and you guessed it, it's based out of El Salvador. Go peer-to-peer with Bitcoin bulk buys. Tap into home equity for long-term Bitcoin growth. And join their exclusive mining pools if you're interested in mining. What are you waiting for? Head over to bitcoinben.io. Join today, where Bitcoin meets freedom.
All right, Bitcoin Tom Cruise. I mean, Paul.
Literally looks like Tom Cruise. I thought you were kidding at first, and then I was looking at him. I'm like, you know what? Yeah.
That's been my whole life. It is what
Yeah.
We
it
have
is.
Mark Moss, who is Bitcoin.
No, he's not.
No.
He doesn't look like, what do you always say, Matthew
He
McConaughey?
literally
No, he
looks
doesn't.
like
I
Matthew
kinda-
McConaughey.
No, he
Kinda
doesn't.
see what you're saying.
Okay, whatever. He's Bitcoin Matthew McConaughey, and you're Bitcoin Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and I'm, love you, Paul. I'm trolling. I just watched Vanilla Sky the other night. I'm like, I freaking love that movie.
That
It's
movie
such a
is
good movie.
excellent.
Anyways, enough side talk. We're here to talk ByteFederal. So you guys just partnered with I'm gonna butcher it. Did you say Burapay?
Burapay, yeah.
Yeah. So you entered an agreement with Burapay. What is this? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, this is very cool. So Burapay is the very first and only gambling regulated crypto wallet. So what that means is casinos, online gambling, all the legal gambling venues globally will have access to a gaming regulated crypto wallet, which means that they will be able to now accept Bitcoin and some other tokens as collateral to get dollar-based tokens to use inside the gambling venues. So what the ByteFederal's
So
role?
this is like in the building, like actually in
yeah.
the casino. Because I know
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
like gambling internet casino sites where you know
Sure.
they use crypto, but
But they're
like,
not
physically-
regulated. They're
yeah,
not.
obviously,
right.
but physically walk into a building and pay with your Bitcoin.
Yep, you'll be able to walk into a casino in Nevada, and you, instead of going and saying, "Here's X amount in cash," or "Here's a wire," or "Here's a PayPal," or "Here's a Venmo," or whatever, you'll be able to send crypto to their wallet. And ByteFederal will take the other side of that trade. The casino will send us the Bitcoin, and we will send them the dollars.
Damn. So the house does always win here.
Well, yeah.
Well, in this
So
case,
I mean,
the
you're
house-
giving your Bitcoin, you're putting your Bitcoin on the line, right?
You're
And
giving Paul your Bitcoin.
well, but we're gonna sell it to other plebs, so it's all for a good cause.
Yeah,
This
no,
is how
it's
you
better-
redistribute the coin.
Better
Yeah.
him than the government of California, I
There
guess.
you go. There you go.
That's awesome. So this is live right now.
No, what they just signed Rush Street Gaming, which
Okay.
is a very big online and land-based gaming operator. They've got 3 others here that I'm not going to mention until the deal is inked, but their names people know and they're significant. Yeah, we're very excited about this. We think it'll be like the first transactions are probably going to be targeting December. So we'll keep you informed. We'll keep coming back with more PR and let you know how it progresses. But right now we're building out the APIs and all the infrastructure.
Interesting. So if you are not happy with your Bitcoin gains here, you can go hit the casino and try to get a 10x there. No, I'm trolling, dude. I'm totally trolling. This does make you think, like, you know, the saying is, the internet got big because of kind of more gray markets using the internet, and that's how it kind of became the phenomenon that we know today. Bitcoin, in the same respect, did kind of get adopted on the fringes, and this does, I think, will eventually lead to more actual adoption as Bitcoin as money, though.
Right.
You know, for different use cases, it's totally, you know, it's more of a personal choice here, but we are seeing more use cases like Jack Dorsey launching Square for businesses. You know, you guys partner with Burapay. Like it's starting to come together, people being able to use their Bitcoin in meat space.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like it's if you believe in this idea that Bitcoin needs to be more than a pet rock, it needs to be more than a store of value. This is where this kind of adoption at large scale is going to take place first, right? And it's going to be markets like this where people look at Bitcoin as money, as a currency that allows them to do the things they want to do. And I think this sits right in line with what Jack Dorsey is promoting into making Bitcoin money. And so, yeah, we're very excited about that.
Yeah, and it's one thing I've been going down different like YouTube rabbit holes and just watching different content creators, not necessarily in Bitcoin. I have one of my favorites, and he's just like a degenerate gambler, but his content is so funny. I don't gamble, you know, I just buy Bitcoin and
me either.
hold. But I was surprised to learn, like, within the kind of Gen Z gambling culture, like using crypto, and I'm using that particularly because they're not necessarily always using Bitcoin. Like it's such a, like, it's been so normalized to them where they use, you know, whatever shitcoin du jour they want to go gamble, and then they'll put profits in Bitcoin. So like in younger generations, like gambling and Bitcoin, while we us boomers over here do not recommend that, like the young kids are already doing it. Like it's so normal for them to be like, yeah, you know, I just send some whatever like ETH scan to this whatever shitty online gambling exchange, I make my money. And then there's certain portions in their videos where like, yeah, all I got is you know, a crypto wallet, and this casino is not going to take it. And they're like full degen gamblers. So, but anyways, the whole story is, it's already been super normalized to like Gen Z and younger generations that, you know, and maybe this is a bad thing. Maybe this is why us Bitcoiners are always like, you know, unks here. And we're like the uncles, like, no, you're supposed to save in Bitcoin, guys. You want to save.
Yeah.
And use it as money, not just send it to the casino and get washed. But it is very normalized in younger generations, like Bitcoin and casinos. So hey, now,
yeah, I mean, we all want to save.
games.
We all believe in hodling Bitcoin. At the same time, the way we get Bitcoin in, you know, we have the way we get Bitcoin in more hands and more people and more widely distributed, so that everybody can participate in this, is through the spending of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So, you know, if everybody has to queue up to buy Bitcoin at an ETF, as opposed to being able to earn it through their day-to-day business operations, it's going to make for a more centralized Bitcoin world. So at some point, you know, once your hodling goals have been reached, you know, it's good. I do this all the time, right? Like when I'm in El Salvador, for example, right? I'll smash buy Bitcoin to spend it at a vendor who will take it. So it's part of the Bitcoin circular economy. I mean, that's what ByteFederal is trying to do, is build a financial system on Bitcoin that is circular, for people that are accumulating, people that are selling, people that are distributing, and using it to make payments, using it in a POS system, using it in loans. So this just fits right in with what we're trying to provide the world.
Yeah, and the real question, I guess, for the Bitcoiners, for the hardcore maxis in the chat, if they, for whatever reason, get the itch to go gamble, could they take their winnings in Bitcoin?
The casino will not distribute their winnings in Bitcoin. The casino is
not
yet. Yeah, that would be rad. No, that'll be V2, I hope. V2.
Yeah, V2.
But you could take your earnings and then go to your nearest ByteFederal ATM machine and smash buy. Well, you should have the ATMs in the casino.
Yeah,
exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
Gotta have the ByteFederal ATM at the end of the casino. Whichever one's you partner, you gotta have them there. So at least, hey, if you go and have fun, at least you secured it in some hard money. I think that'd be the way. But yeah, man, let's pivot the combo a little bit, Paul. Obviously, for people not familiar with ByteFederal, let's just do a general plug of ByteFederal.
Sure.
You know, what is ByteFederal? Where can people find ByteFederal?
Sure.
Et cetera, et cetera.
I appreciate it. So yeah, ByteFederal started late 2016. 3 guys here in Venice, Florida, that founded the company and started it. They basically started a Bitcoin ATM company. They're the 7th largest in the world, and they're also the 7th largest in the world Bitcoin ATM manufacturer, because they build all their own ATMs. So they're all built in-house, 100% here in the United States. And that's been the cash cow that has allowed them to develop more. So we launched a non-custodial wallet, I think in 2020-ish, somewhere around there. That non-custodial wallet is really for Bitcoin maxis. You can create as many Bitcoin wallets as you want. It's Lightning enabled, send, receive, and hold your own keys. And then we also created, and we call that, by the way, we call that Bitcoin Vault. But we recently launched Bitcoin, our ByteFederal wallet, and the ByteFederal wallet is fully custodialized. It's the easy button for people new to the space. So if you want to, log in, connect your checking account, smash buy Bitcoin, there you can, and your Bitcoin will be custodied for you. Your balances get big enough, and you want to start to learn to take self custody, you can transfer that to Byte Vault and hold your own keys. So we've got both of those tools in place now, and the Byte Wallet's in the App Store, and it's just getting launched, so it's only been out there live for a few weeks. Then we also have a POS system we call Byte Connect. It's actually what we're using to help BurraPay on these transactions. So it is a set of API keys for a payment gateway, and we have about 45 retailers using that now. Talking to some of the larger retailers, hopefully we can break through in some bigger agreements there. But that is the tool that allows anybody to receive Bitcoin for retail sales. And we did that. All these products are Lightning enabled, and we did do the first Lightning on this payment gateway. We did the first Lightning transaction for gasoline at a mobile station here in Sarasota.
Oh, interesting. That's dope.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I can't wait to pay my bills and buy my gas with Bitcoin. It's gonna make my life so much easier.
Can't wait to spend my Bitcoin.
Wait. Correction. Spend Nico's Bitcoin.
Hey. I had a lot of Bitcoin.
You just need to get to that $1 billion level.
Not before I met him, but I had a lot of Bitcoin.
Oh man,
I'm
that's
just kidding.
funny.
I don't have Bitcoin.
Yeah,
girl.
I just talk about it. I don't own any.
Girl.
I just talk about it here on the show, guys. Anyways, Paul, that's all I got for you, man. Is there anything else you wanna chat about real quick? Plug about ByteFederal? Anything on top of mind before we wrap up on today's show? Actually, let's just do. Paul, what is your last message, final message you want to leave with the audience?
My final message, I guess, would be that Bitcoin has a very long future ahead of it. It's just getting started still. And like all this talk about the daily volatility and the price, it's fun, it's exciting, it drives a lot of the conversation. But at the end of the day, you need to start accumulating Bitcoin, because it is going to be what's left on the other side of this big transition we're going through. The United States, the globe is going to see a huge amount of disruption and change over the next decade. And the only thing that'll be here today and relevant on the other side of that change are hard assets like gold and Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is so much better than gold because of its durability, because of its divisibility. It's uncensorable. It's easy to divide. It's easy to spend. It's easy to verify the transactions, right? So we can go through all the upgrades between Bitcoin and gold. I'm sure many people listening to this have heard that before, but we always need to keep in mind that it's about how much you accumulate from between now and that point. And that point is coming. It's accelerating. We can go into all the doom and gloom around why that's coming and how fast it's coming. But the bottom line is between now and then, you need to accumulate as much Bitcoin as you can. And we're here to help you. And you need to bank yourself. Like Sophie said all day, hold your own keys, bank yourself, like we say at ByteFederal, and you'll have a brighter future.
Let's go.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you guys haven't checked out my new video, I talk about that exact point, that at this point, it is a game of accumulation. And if you have more sats today than you did yesterday, that is pretty much all that matters. And the price starts to become irrelevant because you remember why it is that you bought Bitcoin to begin with. And it wasn't just because of number go up, although I know a lot of us are incentivized by our greed, and that's why Wall Street and governments are getting into it. But remember that you are purchasing Bitcoin, you are opting out of the system so that you can stop getting screwed over by fiat. And at the end of the day, that's the real signal. That's why we're here.
You need to hit her with a...
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go, guys. All right, Paul, let me pull you off screen real quick. Hang out for a second while I wrap up the show. All righty then, guys. This was the Friday show. We made it through the week.
Did it,
We
Opti.
did it.
I'm
We
so
did it.
proud of
We did
us.
it. The first week in the studio. Also, forgive some of the technicalities. The internet was acting up in here. I don't know why it went to a different stream. Whatever. I'll have it all figured out hopefully by Monday. We're going to continue to update the stream. Make sure you guys are having the best show possible. And of course, it's a weekend. Get outside, touch some grass, eat some good food, call your loved ones. Oh, and also, guys, get the new merch.
Yes.
Get the new merch. We are, it's going really fast. Limited
Wait,
batch.
turn around.
I don't.
We need you to do a spin.
I don't want to get up. I don't want to get
It
up.
says this is not a negotiation.
Yeah, you'll see it. Go to the website. You can see the new hat here. It's falling over. But anyways, guys, we love you. We appreciate you guys. We will see you on Monday for another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live, roughly 12:30, roughly ish. All right. Anyways, guys, we'll see you then. And of course, come back to the channel. We're dropping content all weekend long. Got a bunch of stuff for you guys. So we'll be back. Have a good weekend, guys.
Today's episode was brought to you by BitcoinWell.com, a Bitcoin-only platform on a mission to enable financial independence.